to our feet. Let's praise our King this morning. Are you excited to be here, Met Church? Yes. We've got plenty to sing and worship about this morning. Come on, let's sing. Let praise be a weapon that silences the enemy. Let praise be a weapon that conquers all anxiety. Let it rise. Let praise arise. We sing your name in the dark and it changes everything. We sing with all we are and we claim your victory. Let it rise. Let praise arise. Let it rise, yeah. We'll see you break down every wall. We'll watch the giants fall. Fear cannot survive when we praise you. The God of breakthroughs on our side. Forever lift him high. With all creation cry, God, we praise you. Oh, we praise you. Oh, let faith be the song that overcomes the raging sea. Faith be the song that calms the storm inside of me. Let it rise. Let faith arise. Let it rise, yeah. We'll see you break down every wall. We'll watch the giants fall. Fear cannot survive when we praise you. The God of breakthroughs on our side. Forever lift him high. With all creation cry, God, we praise you. Oh, we praise you. Oh, this is living, come on. This is what living looks like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what heaven sounds like. We praise you. We praise. Come on, your voices. This. Come on. This is what freedom feels. Yeah. This is what heaven sounds like. We praise you. We praise you. This is what living looks like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what heaven sounds like. We praise you. We praise you. This is what living looks like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what heaven sounds like. We praise you. We praise. We'll see you break down every wall. We'll watch the giants fall. You cannot survive when we praise you. The God of breakthroughs on our side. Forever lift him high. With all creation cry, God, we praise you. We'll see you break down every wall. We'll watch the giants fall. Fear cannot survive when we praise you. The God of breakthroughs on our side. Forever lift him high. With all creation cry, God, we praise you. Oh, we praise you. Oh, we praise you. Oh, we praise you. Woo! You guys sound good this morning, church. So if you're anything like me, when life is hard, when things aren't going right, when I'm struggling, man, all I have to do is turn on my worship music. Yeah. I have to sing the praises on my lips. I have to know the truths in my heart and my head. And I just have to sing and worship regardless of what's going on in life. So let's do that this morning, church. Let's go. Your love is devoted, like a ring of solid gold, like a vow that's been tested. why I sing. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Oh, Jesus, oh, you father the orphan, your kindness makes us whole. You shoulder weakness, and your strength becomes our own. You're making me like you. You're clothing me in white, bringing beauty from ashes. For you will have your bride, free of all her guilt, free of all her shame, and known by her true name. That's why I sing. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. You will be praised, you will be praised. With angels and saints we sing worthy are you, Lord. You will be praised, you will be praised. With angels and saints we sing worthy are you, Lord. You will be praised, you will be praised. With angels and saints we sing worthy are you, Lord. You will be praised, you will be praised. With angels and saints we sing worthy are you, Lord. Let's go. Oh, your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Oh, Jesus, I'll praise you every storm. Oh, you're worthy of my praise.
Church, would you clap your hands and praise him for his faithfulness? Amen. Amen. Man, church, it's good to be in the house. Amen. Man, you guys came ready. 11 o'clock. Are you here? Hey, y'all came ready. You guys sound incredible. It's so good to be in the house today with you all. And so we're going to sing a new song together. And what I love about this next song is we're really going to sing and sift through the cross of Christ and the sacrificial love that Jesus just shows. And it's just extending his mercy and his grace toward us, looking death, hell, and the grave right in the face and going to it willingly because of his love for us. And so, as we sing this, I would love to just read this scripture and it just how the fact that God chose us before any of us in this room were even a thought, before the world was even spoken into existence, each of us were chosen. And so this is Ephesians 1. I want to read this to you. It says, praise be to the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, who has blessed us in the heavenly realms with every spiritual blessing in Christ. For he chose us in him before the creation of the world to be holy and blameless in his sight. In love, he predestined us for adoption to sonship through Jesus Christ, in accordance with his pleasure and will, to the praise of his glorious grace, which he has freely given us in the one he loves. In him we have redemption through his blood, the forgiveness of sins, in accordance with the riches of God's grace that he lavished on us with all wisdom and understanding. He made known to us the mystery of his will according to his good pleasure, which he purposed in Christ to be put into effect when the times reach their fulfillment, to bring unity to all things in heaven and on earth and under Christ. And so this is the word of the Lord. And so, church, let's just sing this together. We sing, behold the Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world. We sing together. See him there, the great I am, a crown of thorns upon his head, the Father's heart displayed for us. Oh God, we thank you for the cross. Lifted up on Calvary's hill, we curse your name, and even still you bore our shame and paid the cost. Oh God, we thank you for the cross. And so together we sing, behold the Lamb. Behold the Lamb, the story of redemption written on his hands. Jesus, you will reign forevermore. The victory is yours. Oh, we sing your praise, endless hallelujah to your holy name. Jesus, you will reign forevermore. The victory is yours. So offer up this sacrifice for every sin. Our Savior died, the Lord of life can't be contained. Oh, our God has risen from the grave. Yes, he has. Oh, our God has risen from the grave. Oh, behold the Lamb, the story of redemption written on his head. Jesus, you will reign forevermore. The victory is yours alone, yes. So we sing your praise, endless hallelujah to your holy name. Oh, Jesus, you will reign forevermore. The victory is yours. So when the age of death is done, we'll see your face bright as the sun, and we'll bow before the King of Kings. Oh God, forever we will sing. We will sing, yes. And behold the Lamb, the story of redemption written on his hands. Jesus, you will reign forevermore. The victory is yours. Oh, behold the Lamb, the story Behold the Lamb, the story of redemption written on his hands. Jesus, you will reign forevermore. The victory is yours. So what do? So we sing your praise, endless hallelujah to your holy name. Jesus, you will reign forevermore. The victory is yours, yes, 'cause you reign forevermore. The victory is yours. You reign forevermore. The victory is yours alone. Thy bleeding sacrifice, oh Christ, how brutal yet how splendid. That tragic act of love has paid the price my sin demanded. From Eden's wilted promises to my heart's dark affection, thy bleeding sacrifice, O Christ, has purchased my redemption. So together we sing, Christ has died. Oh, Christ has died, and Christ is risen. Christ has died, and Christ is risen. Hallelujah, Christ will come again. There was no shame or teeth in thine, no agony nor bleeding. Now risen and exalted high is Jesus Christ the Savior, who burst through every band of death and trampled on the darkness. Yes, you have, to give us life, our very breath. Our champion, our glorious. Oh, we declare it. Oh, Christ has died. Oh, Christ has died, and Christ is risen. Christ has died, and Christ is risen. Hallelujah, Christ will come again. Oh, we sing, oh, Christ has died, and Christ is risen. All our hope is found in this. Hallelujah, Christ will come again. Thy glorious return, O Christ, to ransom all your children. When trumpets howl and mountains shake, announcing heaven's splendor. Oh, the gates of New Jerusalem will open wide to greet us. Yes, it will. And every tongue on earth will say, all glory unto Jesus. Oh, yes, every
What's going on, Met family? How y'all doing today? Listen, y'all can be seated. Relax, relax, relax. I'm going to set you up really quickly. So every week, Pastor Matt gets up here and he asks how you're doing. If you're at 9 o'clock, he asks 9 o'clock, he asks 11 o'clock. I'm not saying that the 9 o'clock was louder, but I'm saying like right now, when I ask you how you're doing, I need you to be loud, loud, and more loud. Are y'all ready? There it is. All right, are you ready? How is everyone doing, Met family? They're ready. They're fired up like I am. Listen, we have so many things to be thankful for and to celebrate. This past Thursday was Thanksgiving, and what an amazing event it was. We were able to partner with Cypress Creek Fire Department and Houston Methodist Willowbrook to provide over 150 meals. I'm gonna say that one more time. Provide over 150 meals for families in our community, and that's something to be great and proud about. And as we continue with our spirit of celebration, we want to celebrate God with our tithes and offerings. Yeah, that's exciting right there. Woo! As we do that, there are a couple ways you can give. If you're at home or you're watching online, you can definitely text the Met to 7977 or mail your checks in. And if you're here in the building, we have the black boxes located that you can feel free to drop that in. And as we get ready for our tithes and offering, will you guys pray with me real quick? Awesome. God, thank you so much for just providing for us. And we just celebrate a time to be able to worship you with our tithes and offering from the abundance of blessings that you just continue to provide. And we're grateful. In Jesus' name, everyone says, amen. All right.
We don't have to change the world, but we can make a difference. What might our homes, our neighborhoods, and communities look like if we loved simply and sincerely, with no expectations in return? Catch the vision of living with a first responder mentality for those around you, and dreaming small by choosing to make an impact, one need and one life at a time.
What's going on, everybody? I thought you were a better coach than that, Floyd.
Let's try that one more time.
What's
guys.
going on, everybody?
There it is. There it is.
Welcome back. And can I just say something? If you're watching online or if you're in the room today, before we kick everything off, I'm just seated right over here and worshiping just through just the depth of the truth of the gospel over and over and over and over again. Is there anything more powerful and more palpable than the Spirit of God in the moments when you're just declaring truth in worship songs? And I have to say something, Met Church. Can I have everybody's eyes up? Because I ask for that all the time. When you respond to God that way, it's literally a weapon in your hand. Because people walk into situations like this, or you're watching online, and in the midst of culture right now, it is heavy and it is dark at times, and we don't really know where our hope is found. And we've talked about that over the last couple of weeks. But when you respond in worship, you are literally taking what you tend to believe in your flesh and you're replacing it with the truth of God's word. And therein, the smile, even if it's behind the mask, the smile begins to show up, and the joy of the Lord becomes your, somebody said it, say it louder, becomes your strength. Don't we all need that right now? I got to tell you, I'm sitting over here and I long to invite that into the culture of our congregation, where every time we step foot in this room, there is a level of expectation and anticipation that the Spirit of God is going to show up in mega huge ways, and we're going to surrender everything at the door and walk in with the sense of, listen, Christ has died, Christ is risen, Christ is coming again, and I'm here and I want to talk to him and I want to feel him, I want to experience him. And so I just commend you. Can we tell our worship team thank you today for leading us with such fervor and passion today? It's amazing. Hey, Floyd, that is a nice sweatshirt you've got on.
Isn't it nice?
I feel like I might have watched you steal that off a mannequin this morning, if I'm not mistaken.
Find the mannequin. That's what I tell you. Look at that. Listen, this.
What are you wearing? Tell us about it.
This is the latest trend right now, guys. It is a hunter green sweatshirt that's love people. Do y'all see that?
It's more olive, really.
Hey, listen, judge me not. Love people, no strings attached, and you can have one of your own and just fashion model it with me if you just go to the met.church/swag. Yeah,
He's bragging on the
someone
swag.
Say, woo, bragging on the swag. It's comfy though.
Is it?
Yeah, that mannequin didn't know what it was missing.
It smells right, but it's comfy. That's good. I'm glad you're with us. And tell us a little bit about what we're doing today before I introduce our friend today. What's this whole no strings attached, loving people, no strings attached? What's this series been all about?
Man, so week one, I was really pumped about because week one we were able to focus on that first responder mentality. If not me, then who was the biggest takeaway for me on that one? And yeah, I heard one amen. That's good. Week two, it was see the need. No, not see the need. It was dream small. It was dream small. And what I took away from that was definitely just pray over every penny. That was powerful for me. Hopefully I'll have a mess pouring out my closet with pennies. That's what I'm talking, just to give. And then week three, we're here.
We're here.
We're
and
in it.
Yeah, the whole point of this series has been, I know that for those of you that maybe you don't attend church regularly, maybe you're visiting with us, you're watching online for the first time, this last 3 weeks, finishing with today, are just a real practical conversation about what it means to love people with no strings attached. And so as Floyd said, we've had some partners from around the community, and you're just going to keep your arms straight the entirety of the, okay, all right, I think they get it, buddy. I think they got it. And I want to introduce everyone to Samdria Stewart. Everybody say, hey, what's up to Samdria today? Samdria, you and George have been a part of our church family for a number of years, but more visibly, one of the kind of critical components to Blau Middle School, who we adopted several years ago through our relationship with you. And when you say, hey, what does it mean to adopt a school? It means all kinds of things. But really what it means is that we're in a meaningful relationship with the school that we literally share a parking lot with. All right, now if you're an educator or a school counselor, if you're part of the school system, public, private, any way, shape, or form, can I just see your hands? Can you raise your hand up? Let's just tell these people thank you right now. Come on. Due to social distancing and spaces and all that stuff, we're not having everybody up on stage, but we could have a long conversation with a lot of different people.
It's okay. We get to make the Matt sandwich. No one got that? The sandwich? The sandwich? Not a sandwich, sandwich. SAMMICH.
Can't take him anywhere. How did you get up here? Security? Okay. So back to what I was doing before I was interrupted by the swag model. That's a T-shirt. Floyd, the swag model.
Brag on the swag.
Brag on the swag. So Samdria, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about your family, about your just kind of what you've been doing in the community over the last couple of years. Tell us who you are.
Well, thank you, Pastor Matt and T.D. Floyd for having me.
T.D. Floyd.
T.D. Floyd.
For having me here this morning. I am married to Coach Stewart. He's lovingly and affectionately known as Coach Stewart. We both work at Blau Middle School. We're both middle school educators. I am an administrator, and he would call himself an old ball coach. He coaches basketball and football, and we have 3 kiddos. Our oldest is away at Mary Hardin Baylor in her sophomore year, and our 2 littles we adopted here. And yesterday was National Adoption Day, so that's my heart and compassion for kiddos. And we were both called to serve children even before we met one another. So we definitely did not marry for money. It was for love. It was for love.
It was for love.
And it's good looks. But yeah, so we love children and we serve them in and out of our home and on the job every day.
Unbelievable. So one of the things you talked to us about a little bit is just how you've served in a lot of different socioeconomic climates over the years. And especially being at Blau Middle School, and for those of you that have lived in this community for any length of time, you know that the socioeconomic structure of the community that even this church is called to serve has changed over the years. Can I see a nod if you know what I'm talking about? All right, so tell me a little bit about some of the unique challenges, even right now, that are affecting us community-wise with our students and our teachers. With that, COVID-19, my gosh. So, like, what's going on in the hearts and minds of our teachers and students right now as you perceive it?
You just asked me like 5 questions.
And let's
I got nothing.
take it back.
Let's
Let's start from the top.
I got nothing but time.
Yeah, nothing but time.
Okay. So first, is that Melissa? Oh my gosh. Okay.
She is enjoying that. She has that laugh. It's infectious. That whole section is just laughing right now.
So as far as how we're doing, our children are, just going back to people in general, people are hardwired for connection. And our children are disconnected in a sense. The social connection is hindered because of COVID. We're masked physically and kind of at a distance. They're not getting to be with their friends as much and be involved in as many activities. So our kiddos are struggling. They're not connected. Our teachers, pretty much like the kids would say, same. They are working harder than ever. Our educators, no matter, I say teacher, but I mean those who help in the classroom, those who work in the office, any form of education. Right now, we are working harder than ever, but our hearts are grieved because we're not yielding the same results, fruit, so to speak, that we're typically used to seeing. And so we are doing the best we can. We wake up each day, put one foot in front of the other, and put on our smile behind our mask and keep on keeping on for our kiddos.
That's good. I know, like, one of the questions, Pastor Matt, one of the 13 and 1 questions that he just asked, right, was that we have families that are coming from different walks of life, right? And as you say that, and you say you just put on the mask, and in spite of you just love, I just think of so many children that have gone through like hardship, trial. We don't know what their day is going to be like. Can you just talk a little bit about just like the in spite of love, or where they're coming from? Like, yeah.
So because, like Matt said, we reach all the way to the Champions area, Blisle specifically, services over 44 apartment complexes and across all income levels. And so we know sometimes income is connected to experiences and exposure, and so we have kids that come to us who have been in extracurriculars such as soccer and piano and been taking foreign language since they were young. And then we have kids that their parents are just trying to make ends meet. There's no love, no less love. It's just that due to circumstances, financial situations, some kids have more hurdles and obstacles that they have to encounter and endure before they are ready to receive the instruction that we provide at schools. So those daily challenges are always present at Blisle and in every institution of education, where you just have kids that come from a mixture of backgrounds and issues. But to answer one of your many questions,
TD.
We love them all the same. As educators, we invite them all in, whether their shoes fit or they're a little too small, whether they showered or they skipped that day, or whether they need an extra snack or to put their head down for a few minutes. And so educators are definitely in ministry. We're invested, pour into children no matter where they come from. And that's what we do.
I was talking to one of our elders this week, and he had the privilege of meeting one of our military, one of our Navy SEALs, and they had this, event for MD Anderson, and so he had an opportunity to walk through some different things and got a chance to meet some of these different. And I was mesmerized in the moment at this, this idea of the special forces and all this training and all this equipping and everything that these people go through, and they run to the front lines and they do things that none of us will ever see. The trauma that is associated with that type of lifestyle, stuff that we'll never see. And as I'm listening to you, I think it would do well for all of us to understand that in the midst of what's happening right now, that really, administration, for school, teachers, coaches, the whole 9 yards. You guys really are on the front lines. I mean, you're kind of the special forces in the community right now. And you're like, well, yeah, but what about the firefighters and the law officers? Yes, as well. I just think you got to understand that when you're trying to keep a culture intact and you don't really hit the heart of a family, you begin to try to fight moral fights with political agendas, and it doesn't work real well. We've got issues in our families. And what's amazing is you're seeing the needs of those families each and every day, and no matter what you have planned, you have to see that need and you have to meet that need. And so you've told me this, you come to the table with a schedule, and by 7:45 that schedule can be thrown right out the window. Can I get an amen, teacher?
Amen.
Yeah. And something I just wanted to encourage all of us. You're like, oh my gosh, what does this have to do with loving people, no strings attached? As we talked this week, I remember inviting Scott, one of our pastors, in, and he made this statement to you, and I just echo what he said. He goes, he's been here 5.5 months plus, and he has heard your name probably as much or more than any other name in this entire community in his time here, because of the way that you do what we talk about. The way that you not only execute your responsibility as a teacher, but the way that you carry the love of Jesus. And I know, to your point, you got to put on that mask and you got to keep going. And when these kids are hardwired to connect, and they're trying to connect to people with the mask, and you're trying to connect to the students and to the other teachers, anybody having a challenge with that? Have you walked by someone yet that you actually knew really well, didn't even know it was them? Anybody? You're lying to yourself if you're saying that. And that's an interesting perception. I want to take us, if you have your Bible, I want you to go to Romans chapter 12 for just a second. All right.
They are ready for
They
the
are
word.
ready. Romans chapter 12. I'm going to be reading from verse 16. I'm going to read through 13, but I'm going to hone in on verse 9. So Romans chapter 12, verse 6. If you got it, say, I got it. Here we go. In His grace, God has given us different gifts for doing certain things well. So if God has given you the ability to prophesy, speak out with as much faith as God has given you. If your gift is serving others, serve them well. If you're a teacher, teach well. If your gift is to encourage others, be encouraging. If it is giving, give generously. If God has given you leadership ability, take the responsibility seriously. And if you have a gift for showing kindness to others, do it with gladness. Don't just pretend to love others. Really love them. Let me just say that one again. Don't just pretend to love others. Really love them. Hate what is wrong. Hold tightly to what is good. Love each other with genuine affection. Take delight in honoring each other. Never be lazy, but work hard. Serve the Lord enthusiastically. Rejoice in our confident hope. There it is. Be patient in trouble and keep on praying. When God's people are in need, be ready to help them. Always be eager to practice hospitality. Galatians 6. Share each other's burdens, and in this way you will obey the law of Christ. If you think you're too important to help someone, you're only fooling yourself. You are not that important. Verse 7, don't be misled. You can't mock the justice of God. You will always harvest what you plant. Those who live only to satisfy their own sinful nature will harvest a decay and death from that sinful nature. But those who live to please the Lord will harvest everlasting life from the Spirit. So let's not get tired of doing good. At just the right time, we will reap a harvest of blessing if we do not give up. And I just have to say this as we kind of walk through this final week of loving people, no strings attached. The brilliance of who you are is that you don't just say you love people. And when I say you, I'm not just talking about you, I'm talking about all the men and women you represent sitting here today. Because in our educational system, the hope is volatile. The situations are disconcerting. It's really hard to understand and to know where these children are coming from, where these parents are coming from, and frankly, where these teachers are coming from. More early retirements than we've ever seen before. Tapping out, done, I'm finished. And the struggle and the need is so pervasive And yet I fear that if we're not careful, we'll do what we've always done as the Church of Jesus, and we will say that we love others, and we have the right motive. But are we really investing in the lives of the people right here in our backyard? And I love that verse, Romans 12:9. Don't just say you love others, really love them. Really love them. I'm reminded of a conversation we had a little bit earlier this week. You ever get into a situation and somebody's going through a tough time, and these are the words that have come out of your mouth? I'm guilty, by the way. Hey, listen, whatever you guys need, just let us know, and we'll be there. That's a brilliant statement of motive. But if you really think about what it does, it actually lifts the burden from me and puts it back onto the person that's experiencing the stress. Hey, you guys are having a difficult time in school right now. Oh my gosh. Tell us what it is that you need, and we'll be there for you. Hey, I know that you just went through a death in the family. If there's any way that we can be there for you, don't hesitate to ask. And what that does is it takes this responsibility that I have and that I'm feeling towards someone, and it removes it from me and puts it back on them. And if she has time to organize it and figure it out, then we'll be there. And in the meantime, with the burdens that you are carrying, there's just no way for you to carry that one also. And lo and behold, it just heaps more and more coals. Does that make sense?
No, totally. I think of Matthew 10, even when you talk about unloading a burden, it's like, you're putting a burden on them. But for me, it's like Matthew 10, 9 through 10 says, you won't need a lot of money. Travel light. Don't even pack extra change of clothes in your backpack. Trust God for absolutely everything, because the one who works for him deserves to be provided for. And I think, like, as man, sometimes we get caught up into, like, having to do something big and grand. Like, I have to, go out and pay everyone's mortgage. And I don't have that option, so I just won't. But it could be something so small, traveling light, letting go of I have to do something big, to just genuinely asking, how's your day? How are you? And waiting for a response. Instead of being like at a restaurant, hey, welcome to such and such. Can I get how you doing today? Good, that's great. But actually care. Someone else, that happened to someone in the room, and they felt that in their heart right there. But just caring, loving. The greatest commandment is love. You said you and George, you met, and it was love. And that's what you do every single day.
You mentioned a little bit about, speaking of you and George, you mentioned a little bit about y'all's coming to the Met and staying. What is it that brought you here, and what is it that keeps you here?
So initially, when you reached out to the school and said, hey, we share a parking lot, what can we do? We saw the actions. We saw the actions, and we thought, oh, that's nice. There's a church. They want to, invest in the little school over here. But then we actually got to know the people and the heart behind what you guys do. And so many of the people here love. They will get in your business and do life with you. I've had some of the widows from the Widows Ministry come to my house and line my cabinets with shelf paper. I've had people drop off meals when we adopted our kids. When there was social and racial unrest in the country and around the world, I had a group of ladies from the church call and invite me to just come have a heart-to-heart. They just wanted to check on me and check on my heart. And that's the kind of love that, that's when you feel the love of Jesus, is when people don't just say they love, but they really put those actions and words, and you can really feel the heart behind it. So that's why we're here.
It's that's a testimony to living and walking this out. It's not enough to say that you love others. Really love them. And loving people's messy. Anybody?
Whew. No strings attached.
Loving.
It is. It's easy to. Oh, he's modeling again.
I know,
It's
he's not staying focused.
It's easy to love the Sunday morning church member, seat member, pew member. We don't have the pews anymore. Thanks, Matt. But it's easy to love the put together person. But I have people in this congregation I can call at 2 a.m. and cry and weep and that I can go sit in their floor in their living room and feel that love.
I need to say that one more time. You said it's easy to love the put together person. How many of you, don't raise your hands. How many of you know better? Like you're not put together. She is messed up right over here. That's what she just said with her. No. It's easy to love the put together person. You mentioned this even with the context of the school system, right? You serve so many different socioeconomic groups within the context of that one location. I'm sure that you've got to walk in with a certain mindset because you don't get to understand or know how the kids are going to respond. Mm-hmm. Explain that a little bit.
The put together student is, has their homework done and raises their hand first to answer the question and wants to please the teacher. And those are the easy ones to give the sticker to give the reward to make the good phone call home. But the ones who come in hungry and angry and may use profanity towards you or, because of whatever circumstances are happening at home, those are the ones that it's not so natural and easy to always love. But as educators, as teachers, we love all of our children, and we have to continue to sow and water and invest in those children because we don't know what God has planned for their lives, and we don't know just because they're not the star athlete or the A honor roll student, that might be our physician one day. That might be our the judge or the officer or the next generation of educators. And so we invest in all of them, no matter if we see the return or not immediately. In middle school specifically, we keep them for 3 years. And so we get them, we see them grow a little bit, and then we send them on, and we might not see the harvest or the fruit from our investment in that short time that we have them, but we have to continue to invest in them.
You are preaching right now. Listen. Think about that. Hold on, stay with me. Think about that in terms of, let me go back here real quick to Galatians chapter 6. Don't be misled. You will always harvest what you plant. So do not get tired of doing what is good. At just the right time, you will reap a harvest of blessing if you do not give up. Let's apply that mentality to the mentality of following Jesus. Because there's going to be times when God is calling you to invest in someone's life and the return is not waiting for you on the other side. And so you invest a year, 2 years, 3 years into someone's life. And in every practical sense, you do not see the fruit of that investment in that life immediately. What do we do typically? Especially as Americans, right? I want to see the fruit of my labor. I want to see the return on my investment, but that's not how it works. And in the same mentality that Samdria is modeling for us as an educator, we have to have as people who are disciples making disciples. When I go in and I see that God's given me this opportunity to invest in someone's life, the return on the investment is not what I'm looking for. God is giving you, me, an opportunity to set down my own agenda and to pick up His agenda for that person, not knowing what His story is for that person's life. And if we do not give up, we will reap a harvest. And some of you need to hear that. You've been investing your life in people and you're not seeing the return on the investment. But I promise you, that your faithfulness, your attitude of service, that act of love, no strings attached, will produce fruit in those folks' lives. And there are a group of us, whether you're watching online or watching on campus today, you're still sitting on the sidelines. You've got that mentality that says, let me know what I need to do and I'll be there. And I'm here to tell you, we're never going to let you know. Because the responsibility is in you. The Spirit of God is in you. Amen. You are a daughter. You are a son. And I don't know who God is bringing to your mind. I don't know what mentality that needs to shift in you, but I'm here to tell you today. If we're supposed to bear with each other's burdens and in this way fulfill the law of Christ, we're not going to be able to do that with our eyes set on ourselves, looking at all the weight that we carry. In fact, some of our healing is going to come when we get our eyes off of ourselves and onto someone else. If we're going to travel lightly, we're going to have to serve someone else first. You walk in with a burden in and of yourself, all on your own. This COVID-19 thing, you talked about the teachers not being able to have the successes that they desire, the teachers not being able to really see the fruit of that investment right off the bat. But the moment that child walks into the room, your burdens get set down and the burdens of that child get picked up. And that's the mentality we have to have as followers of Christ. Selfless love. No strings attached. I'm going to say love others. You're going to model that for us one more time, please? I'm going to say love people. You're going to say no strings attached. Love people.
No strings attached.
11 o'clock, come on.
Come on.
Love people. Love people. Love people.
No strings attached.
That's what it's about. That's what it's about. And can I just tell you, having watched you, not from a distance, but closely, that you model the very thing that we are teaching and preaching with such grace and dignity, and we're thankful for you and for your husband and who you are in this church and this community. We're thankful. So I'm going to ask Samdria to stand, but if you're a teacher, an educator in the administrative offices, if you're a coach, whatever, any public school, private school, in any way, shape, or form, would you stand? Come on. Would you stand? Let me look around, everybody. Look around. Check this out. Front lines right here. Everybody stand with them. Let's pray together. We're going to respond in worship in a second. Before we do, I want you just to extend a hand. Just extend a hand. You see one of those folks right there in your section. I want you to pray specifically for them. I want to guide you through a prayer time before we sing and respond to the Lord. Number one, would you pray? Would you pray for Cy-Fair School District? Would you pray for Cypress Christian School, for Rose Hill Christian School? Every educator you can think of, every school that comes to mind right now, would you just lift it up before God? Would you ask for it to be a place of peace? Would you pray against the lie of the evil one in those classrooms that tells those kids that this is all there is? Would you ask him to silence the voice of the enemy in those classrooms right now? If you know someone affiliated with that teaches, affiliated with the school system, would you lift their name up and intercede for them right now at the very throne of God? Pray that God would anoint their head, that he would put power and authority in them and hope in them again, and that he would lift their head high, Psalm chapter 3, that he would be a shield about them, that he would be their glory. And would you pray for you, that God would give you spiritual eyes to see a need and to fill a need. That you would not be waiting to programatize something, but that you would make it personal and take it personal. As a follower of Christ, I will no longer sit on the sidelines. I will stand in the gap Wherever there's a need, God, please send me, use me. Give me eyes to see the hurting, eyes to see the brokenness. Let me lay down my burden and align my life with you, oh God, until everyone knows that there is hope and power in the name of Jesus. For there is salvation found in no one else. There is no other name under heaven given among men whereby we must be saved. For he made him who knew no sin to be sin for us. And when he looks upon us, he sees the righteousness of the Son. For it is by grace that we have been saved through faith, not of ourselves. It is the gift of God, not of works, so that no one can boast. So then, whenever we have the opportunity, let us do good to everyone, especially those in the family of faith. Let's not get tired of doing good. It's at just the right time we will reap a harvest of righteousness if we do not give up. God, this is not the finish line, oh God. Give us eyes, give us courage. Bless our teachers, bless our school district, bless Dr. Henry, bless Dr. Potts. God, please, by your grace, by your authority, we pray it in Jesus' name. And everyone said, amen. Would you tell Samdria thank you one more time, and all of our teachers and educators? Sydney, do you got one more song to just lead us in? Can we just set our hearts right before we head out into the streets and live this out? Lead us, brother.
Sing this in faith. Oh, 'cause we know our world needs Jesus. Oh, we know our world needs freedom. So give us eyes to see the hurting and the broken. Let our lives align with every word you say. Oh, we know, 'cause we know our world needs Jesus. Oh, we know our world needs freedom. So give us eyes to see the hurting and the broken. Let our lives align with every word you say. Until every heart turns to Jesus. Until every voice sings of your great name. Until all the earth knows your freedom, God. We will lift you high. Yes, we will. Yes, we will. Until every heart turns to Jesus. Oh, until every voice sings of your great name. Until all the earth knows your freedom. We will lift you high. Yes, we will. Yes, we will, God. Oh, we will lift you high. 'Cause we know our world needs Jesus. Yes, God. 'Cause we know our world needs freedom. Give us eyes, so give us eyes to see the hurting and the broken. Oh, let our lives align with every word you say. Come on, let's declare it. Oh, 'cause we know our world needs Jesus. 'Cause we know our world needs freedom. Give us eyes, so give us eyes to see the hurting and the broken. Let our lives align
bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. Yes, all the earth and all the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. Sing all the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. Sing that one more time. Oh yes, all the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. Yes, it's your breath in our lungs. So we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs. So we pour out our praise to you only. It's your breath in our lungs. So we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs. So we pour out our praise to you only. And all the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. Sing all the earth, and all the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you,
Yes, Jesus, that is the cry of our hearts as we exit today. As you send us out into the world today, we already know, and we won't stop until all the earth is singing your glory, Jesus. And so whatever it takes, whatever it looks like, God, here we are, send us. For your glory and for your renown are the desires of our souls, Jesus. So here we are, send us. And all your children say, amen, amen. Can we just praise him one more time? That's so good, so good. Well, church, we're so excited for our next series that we're about to step into. It's called Make Room. As we prepare for the Advent season, as we celebrate the expectation of Jesus coming in. And so what I would just love to tell you is to even pray as you go into this week and as you leave today. Just begin to ask God to prepare your heart, because this series is going to be phenomenal, not only for us as a church family, but for us as individuals. And so, church, we love you. We're so glad that you joined us today for worship. You were sent. We will see you next week.